Hello, good morning, and thanks for joining us here for our 8:30 stream show. It is Wednesday, November 26th. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. I'm Mitch Carter.
That's right. I'm Casey Mason. Of course, we are bringing you some breaking news here to kick off today's stream show. If you were able to join us on 14 News Sunrise this morning, we have even more details since you last saw us. So let's get right to it. Evansville police, they are responding to a deadly shots fired run. Dispatchers say that it was called in just after 5:30 this morning for what was a possible gunshot victim. Well, now we know that officials have confirmed 3 victims are involved in this. We know an 18-year-old was shot and killed.
That's right. Officials also say a 15-year-old was the other victim in this case. And there's one more as well whose age is still unknown at the time. So we're talking about, at least 2 kids here. Both of them, the 15-year-old and the other person whose age is unknown, are currently in the hospital. I did speak with Sergeant Anthony Oscar with the Evansville Police Department, who says their injuries are non-life-threatening. They're recovering right now. Officials do confirm, though, like I said, they're being treated for those non-life-threatening injuries. All of this happening here, including where this video was taken in the 1700 block of Marshall Avenue. I was there this morning. You can see here just quite a large police presence there, and not even including Marshall Avenue. On Lodge Avenue and Riverside, kind of the entire encompassing area, it was hard to find this because there are police everywhere. They've got this huge perimeter set up because some callers this morning around 5:30 reported hearing 10 to 12 shots in that area, and we know as well callers reported there were people fleeing from the area. So right now, it's not known if the people who were fleeing are suspects or people who fled out of fear. So like I mentioned there was that large perimeter out there, still there within the last hour here as I left. I'm assuming they're trying to find those who fled the area, whether or not they're suspects, just to talk to everybody. EPD says as well they've already been conducting interviews this morning, trying to get to the bottom of this. We don't know right now if this is a singular shooter, multiple, that sort of thing, but we do know it was a triple shooting, and we know one person has died. So again, just beware of that area this morning. And EPD Sergeant Anthony Oscar also added, unfortunately, we're of course the day before Thanksgiving. We've got kids involved in this. It's just a tragedy that we'll continue to keep you up to date with, both on air and online at 14news.com.
That's right. Of course, you're fresh off of being there at that scene. Latest details that we can bring you here this morning, but we'll have those developing, updates here throughout the day, as you just mentioned. So switching gears now, we're going to get to our next story here, recapping this, happening today. Of course, we know millions of Americans are going to be expected to hit the road for the Thanksgiving holiday. Well, because of that, authorities right here in the tri-state say that they are going to be stepping up those patrols, you guys. Evansville Police and Indiana State Police are teaming up with the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. Today, through the end of the year, authorities are going to focus on impaired driving, aggressive driving, and seatbelt violations as well. Officials will also hold some sobriety checkpoints throughout the tri-state. Authorities say that drunk driving still remains one of the leading causes of deadly crashes during the holiday season. So just, again, letting you know that there's going to be some extra patrol out there this time of year.
Absolutely. And, right now I see we've got, well over 100 people watching us right now this morning at 8:30. We appreciate you guys tuning in here. Once again, talking about that shooting on Marshall Avenue, the triple shooting with the one homicide there. I did talk to Anthony Oscar, as I mentioned there, Sergeant with EPD, who says they're expecting more releases to come out throughout the day here. So stay with us on 14 News, with our app as well as on air and online. We'll be able to share with you, whatever comes to this. Of course, right now, waiting to see if they catch somebody or name somebody or some people in this case in particular.
Yeah, that's right. And as you mentioned, the 2 folks that are in the hospital right now for those, they said minor injuries.
At least non-life-threatening. So they should recover according to EPD. So, that's good news there. But unfortunately, like we mentioned here, an 18-year-old has died, and it's all the day before Thanksgiving, which is just, it's
extremely
unfortunate.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Definitely. Of course, we appreciate you being out there in the field, giving us the latest developments, getting back here to give you guys, again, an update from your perspective as well. Again, we'll keep you guys up to date both here and online. We did kind of flip-flop our show here. We're going to get to the weather portion of this stream now for you. Meteorologist Byron Douglas on standby. Before we head out of here today, anything you want to add regarding our headlines this morning?
No,
as we head into our holiday?
We'll be back here once again at 11 o'clock and 12. Another stream coming up at 2:30. Hopefully we'll have more information as soon as we can get it here for you guys at home. I know many people, of course, interested in that story and wanting to see kind of what shakes out there. So like I said, as soon as we have more information, you'll be the first to know, all of our viewers here at 14 News. But for now, we'll get you over to Byron Douglas for a check outside at the weather, looking ahead to what's going to be, unfortunately, a very, very cold Thanksgiving.
Very cold Thanksgiving. A windy, cold start to the holiday for sure. Guys, stand by. Byron will be here in just a minute.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices. Stay informed on
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Byron Douglas. We thank Casey and Mitch with the breaking news. If they have any additional details, we'll be right back on. We're going to start with the travel forecast for today. So if you head out to Evansville Regional, the wind advisories are up to the north. Windy conditions out there right now. And the current temp is at 40. Let's check our regional connections. Detroit is at 40. Where you see the green jets, there's at least no weather-related delays. Pretty quiet across the U.S. There are some winter storm warnings up in Michigan, portions of Wisconsin, and generally up into Minnesota, which we'll cover in a moment. Atlanta is currently at 61, Buffalo at 52, and Dallas-Fort Worth is at 48. They had some severe weather earlier in the week down in Houston, but that's generally not going to be a factor for us. And we'll wind it out. We'll take a look at this wind advisory. I want to show you a couple of items on the wind advisory. We'll take this full. It's generally for these areas north of Interstate 64, Fairfield into Wayne County, Edwards, and Wabash. Also, that covers Albion, Bone Gap, Mount Carmel, Princeton, Hopstadt, Fort Branch, then up into Pike County, and then up towards Vincennes and Washington. I believe I expand this out just a bit. Now, if you're doing any traveling, I-69, US 41, Interstate 64, be careful in those high-profile vehicles overall, because with those winds there, they'll be gusting at 30 to 35. Richard, good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. If you have some rain reports from yesterday, do pass those along. We do appreciate it. But those wind advisories up to areas of the north. There's a look at the wind speed, 18 at Evansville, 29 up at O'Hare, 12 in Nashville, 33 in Des Moines. So those isolated wind gusts up to 40 generally would set up to the north. And here's a look at where we have the trouble spots as far as winter weather is concerned. Includes the west coast of Michigan, St. Joe, Benton Harbor, Muskegon, up towards Traverse City. Of course, it's a windfall for the ski areas up towards Cabernet, Boyne Mountain, and those locations. Northern Wisconsin, winter storm warnings in those areas in red, blizzard warnings up in the UP, covering Marquette, Michigan, and then up towards Superior, Wisconsin. Now, it's no stranger to these areas that get about 100 inches of snow a year. But the winter trouble now is east of Minneapolis, St. Paul, the winter storm warnings there. And on Doppler radar, we'll widen it out just a bit. We're mainly clear. We do have a few clouds out there currently, and a few snow showers, maybe just a few flurries there in South Bend. And then the snow showers are up there in Wisconsin. So we have a few clouds out there, at times more clouds than sunshine. We'll take a look at the cloud decks here in a moment. We're looking at about 3 cloud layers overall with this secondary front. Now, when we came on this morning, we had temps in the mid to upper 40s, but that second front now is taking hold. Winds gusting 30 to 35, and winds gusting 20 to 25 early this evening. Then they'll settle a bit. Tomorrow will be breezy on Thanksgiving Day, winds gusting 15 to 20, but a cold Thanksgiving with a high of 40, with those winds at 15 to 20. We talked about these cloud layers this morning, that the clouds were probably underreported, but the computer guidance is catching up a bit. So as we go into the afternoon, at times mostly cloudy, most of our sunshine, Madisonville, Hartford, up to about Owensboro, winds out of the northwest. Clouds will thicken up tonight, so don't be surprised if you wake up on Thanksgiving morning, if you're up early, and see cloudy skies. We'll rapidly be into the sunshine. This is at 6:30, heading out to the 5K. It will be cold for the patrons out there as we go into the afternoon. Kind of a breezy day, but generally after about 9, 10 in the morning, we'll have generally a full plate of sunshine, talking the vernacular of Thanksgiving. And Friday, for the shoppers, less breezy, high temps in the 40s. We are going to see some weather changes on Saturday. We'll have some chances for snow, mainly during the morning. Right now, no travel impacts across our area, but this is at 11 a.m. Showing some snow and then changing over to rain, kind of breezy. High temps generally between about 35 and 40. And the ground temperatures will be above freezing, so a lot of this would have a tendency to melt on contact. But areas up to the north, Indy and Chicago, if you're traveling there, could have some winter impacts through Sunday early in the day. The next 7 days, all of them are going to be below normal as far as temperatures are concerned. This takes us into Sunday night. And then next week, we're going to have some chances for some snow, which we'll cover here in the 7-day. 37 on Friday, chances for rain and snow early, 38 for a high. But look at next Tuesday, chances for snow. We could have some winter impacts. Right now, it's not attached to any accumulations, but we could see some light accumulations across our area, especially with a low of 20 headed into Tuesday morning. So I'll let you absorb the 7-day. And again, we pardon that turkey with a high of 40 for tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So again, appreciate Kyler, Carrie, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all of you. I'll let you absorb the 7-day. If you're traveling, if you're here from afar, let us know where you're from. We'll give you a shout out. Mike, good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. Kind of more clouds and sunshine, 44 for high as we go through this afternoon. Gina, good morning to you. And then Saturday, some changes. Generally a chance for rain during the afternoon, but at least your umbrella can get a break here for the next 3 days. But our average high is still in the low to mid 50s. Janessa, thanks for tuning in, and hope everyone's doing great. We'll have more coming up. Arden Gregory's going to have more coming up at 14 News at 11, and then again at noon. Tim, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll just keep shouting out a few folks. I'm going to leave this 7-day up here for a few seconds before I shut down the stream. So maybe you're coming in. This is kind of our most important map when there's nothing on Doppler radar. Christy, good morning to you guys. Again, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. If you're traveling, all the winter troubles in western Michigan, north of Milwaukee and Wisconsin, and then up in Minnesota, but east of the major thoroughfares there in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Have a great Wednesday and have a super Thanksgiving.